system. Okay, so from the name, you should be able to guess the function of this. What? So this is used for digestion. Okay, the function of this system will be for digestion of food. Okay, into the nutrients that can be absorbed. Okay, by our body, especially can be absorbed by the blood system, and the blood system will carry this into the organs or the tissue that need or the cell that need the nutrients. Okay, now when we talk about food, okay, when we talk about food, what kind of food that usually we eat? What kind of chemicals in the food that usually we have when we eat? Food mostly gonna be consist of organic molecules, right? Which is big molecules, complex molecules. And then we already learned that there are at least 4 types of organic molecules in our body. The first one will be the carbohydrate. Okay? So the food that we eat mostly consists of this carbohydrate, which is a complex molecules. It's also known as polysaccharide. Okay? A lot of sugars in it. Examples, when you eat, let's say you eat potato, you eat rice, mostly they will have starch. So starch is a polysaccharide. It has a lot of sugars on it. In another name for starch is called the amylum. So amylum is a scientific name for the starch. Another carbohydrate or polysaccharide that we eat, if it is taken from the meat, there is another type of glucose storage in animal is called the glycogen. Okay, so glycogen, starch, they are polysaccharide. They are big molecules. It cannot be absorbed by our blood system without digesting it into the smaller molecule. So from this carbohydrate, the polysaccharide, the form that can be absorbed by our blood system is called monosaccharide. So this polysaccharide must be digested into monosaccharide, which is single sugar. And this single sugar then can be absorbed by our blood, delivered into our cell. There are 3 main type of monosaccharides that's usually taken from the food. The first one, of course, the primary source for energy, which is the glucose. So glucose is a monosaccharide. It's a simple carbohydrate, simple sugar. And it is actually the main source for making ATP, the main source for our energy, which is the glucose. There is another one called the fructose, mostly coming from the fruit. Okay, fruits, a lot of fructose in it. And the other one is called the galactose. Galactose is mainly coming from the milk. Okay, lactose will have a lot of galactose in it. So these are the form of molecule that can be absorbed. It means that the big molecule that you eat, the complex molecule that you eat, the starch, the glycogen, must be digested into this form in order to be absorbed. Okay? So it has to be digested here. Okay? The second type of complex molecule that usually present in our food is, of course, the proteins. Okay? Meat, for example, it has a lot of proteins in it. But protein is a complex molecule. It's a big molecule. It cannot be absorbed by the blood without digesting it into smaller unit, which is the unit that can be absorbed. The unit for the proteins is going to be called the amino acids. So protein has to be digested into amino acid to be absorbed by our system. Then it will be carried into the cell, mostly to create our other proteins in our body. Like for example, muscle mostly consists of protein. It will build your muscle. Okay? It will make the actin, myosins, tropomyosin, troponin, if you still remember that, proteins in the muscle. They all have to be made from this amino acid. And the amino acid coming from the proteins that we eat. There are 20 types of amino acids that we need that's coming from our food. Okay, so that's the second materials that we have in our food. The third one, another complex molecule that also present in our food. If you eat the meat sometimes not only consists of protein, but also it has lipids on it, or fat. Okay, so fat is another complex molecules that present in the food, and they cannot be absorbed without digesting it into the unit that can be absorbed. The unit that can be absorbed from the fat is called the fatty acid. Okay? Fatty acid. So this is the one that will be absorbed in our body. There are two types of fatty acid, whether saturated or unsaturated fatty acid. Right? And they will be coming from different sources. For example, if you eat a lot of meat, you might get a lot of saturated fatty acid, which is mostly sometimes going to be dangerous for our blood system. It can block or clog our circulation. If you eat from the vegetable, like vegetable oils, they mostly consist of unsaturated fatty acid. And this fatty acid is needed for us. For example, to make your sexual hormones, the steroids, the testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, it is made from lipid. It means that you also have to eat food that have lipids on it, fats on it. Okay? Now, the last one, the last complex molecule that usually present in our food is called nucleic acid. Nucleic acid, which is DNA and RNA. So basically, if you eat vegetable, if you eat animal, they will have DNA and RNA on it, right? Because this DNA, RNA present in the cell. And this DNA, RNA cannot be absorbed also because they are complex molecule. It has to be digested into the unit that can be absorbed. That unit is called a nucleotide. Okay, so these nucleotides that will be absorbed into our body. And there are 5 types of nucleotides. Okay, it is in the DNA, RNA. Like for example, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and the uracil. Those are the nucleotides that will be taken from the DNA and the RNA that we eat. And when it is go to our cell, then it can be used to make our DNA, RNA. Remember, our cell will, the DNA will replicate. It requires a lot of nucleotide. Okay, so that nucleotide is coming from our food, which is from the DNA or RNA that we eat, which is present in the cell, in the plant or animal that we eat. So these are the four complex molecules that's usually present in our food, and they have to be digested in order to be absorbed. There are some other things that present in the food, and then also we need them, like for example, vitamin. Okay, we need vitamin because vitamin is called also coenzyme. There are several enzymes that cannot work without vitamin. So vitamin. There are several types of vitamin, like for example, A, B, C, D, E, K vitamin. And this vitamin, it does not have to be digested. It is already ready to be absorbed. Okay, so they are ready to be absorbed. Okay, there are many food that have a lot of vitamin, especially it is coming from the plant-based food. They have a lot of vitamin. 6, also we need these minerals. Calcium, potassium, sodium, chlorine, iron, magnesium, zinc. They're all minerals that also we need them. And we also actually take them from the food that we eat. So they are also don't have to be absorbed. They're already small. They don't have to be digested. They're already small, so they are ready to be absorbed. And of course, very important one, in our food or the one that enter into our body, we also have this one, water. So water is part of our food also, part of our materials that enter into our body, that we need them. So again, the same with the vitamins, minerals. The water is ready to be absorbed. You don't have to digest the water. Water is very small molecule, so they are ready. Okay, so do you have questions so far for this? So these are the chemicals or the compounds that we need to build our body, to grow, to have energy. All of these materials over here. And again, for the digestive system, especially for the digestion itself, it's work in the first 4 components over here, which is the complex molecules. Okay, this is the one that we have to digest. Carbohydrate or polysaccharide, proteins, lipids, nucleic acid. These are the 4 complex molecules that have to be digested in our digestive system. Okay, again, the rest, vitamin, mineral, water, they are ready. Okay, do you have questions so far? Now we're going to learn the organs, the organ that perform this digestion, which is called the digestive organs. In the lab, you're gonna also try to find these organs. So we'll continue our dissections, the pig dissection, and look for these organs. So digestive organs. Okay. So our digestive organs is divided into two main types. There are two main type of digestive organs. Okay, the first one is called the GI tract. GI tract organs. Okay, which is gastrointestinal tract organ. Tract. What does tract mean? What does tract mean? Anybody in the tract? Athletics. What does tract mean? Path. Okay? So the tract means the organ that creating the path. There is a pathway. And this tract, GI tract, will start from hole and end to the other hole. Okay? That's the tract, the GI tract. It is also known as alimentary canals. Okay? This is another name for the GI tract, alimentary canal. Okay, now we're gonna try to draw this tract, the GI tract. Okay, we start with hole over here. Okay, and this is the hole that you put the food in it. You ingest the food or maybe water. What do you call that organ? Sini, mouth, of course. So mouth, that's gonna be number one. Mouth. Got it? Okay. And then from the mouth, the food will go to the small canal over here that also used by the respiratory system. Remember, respiratory system also use this organ for air. Anybody still remember what is the name of that organ? Sarah? What is organ that also used by the respiratory system and the digestive system? Start with the P. Daniel? Pharynx or pharynx, which is throat. Okay? So the second one's gonna be pharynx or throat. Okay? So pharynx over here. And again, pharynx will be also used by the respiratory system. So this is also respiratory organ. Now, from the pharynx, remember last time when we talked about the respiratory system, the air will go to the larynx, which is the voice box, but the food will go to a little bit longer canal over here. Mason, do you know what is the name? From the pharynx, the food will go to, before going to the stomach. Joe, what is the name? Come on, you eat. What? Yes, good job. Good job, Mason. Oh. Esophagus. So the food will go to the esophagus. Okay? The food will go esophagus, but the air will go to the larynx and then trachea. The food go to the esophagus. That's going to be the third GI tract organ. Now, from the esophagus, then the food will go to this organ that look like a J letter. And this is the place when you feel, I am full, when the food going here. Hey, Garen, what is the name of this organ over here? I am full. Stomach, you full. You feel full in your stomach, right? So this one's gonna be stomach. Okay, so that's number 4, stomach. Okay. From the stomach, there are some digestion over there, and then the food will go to the long canal. This is the longest part of the GI tract actually, where the food will be mostly digested. 99% digestion happening here. Also 99% absorption will be happening here. It means that, the digestion will be kind of finished in this place because the nutrient will be absorbed also from this place. Anybody know what is the name? That's the small intestine, but it's going to be the small one. The small intestine. Small intestine. And this small intestine consists of 3 parts. The first part that closer to the stomach is called the duodenum. This is when the digestion usually, most of the digestion will be happening. And then the second one is called the jejunum. This is when the absorption must be located. And then ileum. This is the rest of absorption will be happening here in the ileum. So duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. That's part of the small intestine. Okay, now, from this small intestine, there is a small organ that actually, what we call the rudimenter. It is there, but we don't use it. But for the animal that eat vegetable, like cow, for example, this organ is really important because it can be used for digestion also. But in human, it is not important anymore. Even if the food coming here, you have problem. You have problem. You might die. It's very, very painful that some people say that have this problem. Anybody know what is the small organ that it is not used anymore, but it is there? It is showing us that we actually evolved from, animal that also eat plant. That's the appendix. So appendix over here. Okay, appendix. So appendix. It is not used. Okay, and then from the appendix, then you have another. I'm gonna erase this. Another intestine that is gonna be bigger. Like that. Okay. Anybody know what is the name of the bigger intestine? Carson? Large intestine. Large intestine. It is also known as a colon. Colon. So you have a colonoscopy. They're looking for something in your colon, in your large intestine. In the colons, okay, there is no digestion. Digestion is done. Mostly only reabsorption of water. So there are some water still be absorbed from the large intestine. So the large intestine is actually place for undigested food. So the food is not digested by the small intestine, then we'll go to the large intestine. And this is what we call the feces, right? The poop. So the poop start to build in the large intestine. Okay, it's not for digestion, but mostly for the waste product, undigested part of the food. And then, from this large intestine, the food, not the food, that's not food anymore. The waste, the poop, the waste product will go to a little bit short canal, will stay there for several hours maybe or days. It depends on whether you can hold it or not. Okay, so this is the storage. for the poop before going to the restroom. Anybody know what is the name? Dylan. What is the name of the poop storage before you let it go? Anybody? Ethan? Daniel? I'm sorry? Is that with R? Rectum. Good job. So rectum. So rectum is the temporary place for our feces, our poop. You can hold it for several hours or several days. It depends on whether you have food or not. Sometimes if you someone that live in the area that they don't eat a lot, sometimes the poop over there stay for a longer time. Sometimes it can be reabsorbed also by your body. For people that have starvation, sometimes they get the nutrient also from their poop. That's actually dangerous because many waste product over there, right? Just for information. And of course, after the rectum, there is another hole. That's the end hole, which is start with A. Anybody know what is the name? A hole. What is A hole? Calvin. Even A. Anus. Anus. A hole, which is anus. Some people say that. Okay, I will not say. This is the anus, the hole. So start from the hole, the mouth, and into the another hole is called the anus. That's the tract, the GI tract. And this is again the pathway of our food goes from when we start eating in the mouth, and then digestions, boom, 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 mostly then happenings in the small intestine. The poop will start to form in the large intestine, go to the rectum, go to the anus, and finally go to the restroom. Okay, so that's the GI tract. The second organs, the second digestive organ called the accessory digestive organs. So this is accessory organ. This is additional organs that needed for digestion, but it is not part of the tract. It is not part of the tract. So for these accessory organs, there are three that's located in the mouth. There are three located in the mouth. There is another three that's located in the abdominal cavity. Okay, so when you dissect the pig next time, try to also look for these three accessory organs in the mouth and the three accessory organs in the abdominal cavities. What is the first one in the mouth? You have this one, very hard organ or structure that used for grinding your food. Anybody know what is the name? Teeth. So teeth. That's accessory organ. It is not GI organ. This is not tract organ, but it is accessory organ. Teeth. How many teeth do we have normally? 32. Okay, 16 on the top, 16 in the bottom, in the lower jaw or upper jaw. Okay, 16 plus 16. That's normal. But most people know they don't have the 4 on the back, the wisdom teeth, because they usually taken out. But normally, adult will have 32 teeth. The second one, here. The one that can be used for moving the food when you're digesting it in the mouth. You can also use it for talking. Where you move. What is that? Tongue. How many tongues we have? One is enough. One tongue. The next one. This is the accessory organ that produce the saliva. It is located in the mouth. There are 3 pairs of these organs in the mouth. What is called it? Salivary glands. Okay, salivary gland. There are 3 pairs. Okay, 1 pair is on your cheek. Okay, it's called the parotid. Okay, pair of parotid salivary glands. Okay, 1 pair, because you have left and right, right? 1 pair under the mandible. So it's going to be called submandibulary glands. Okay, it's going to be 2, left and right. And there is another pair that's actually located under your tongue. Under your tongue. It's called the because it's under, lingual. So lingual means tongue. Sublingual salivary gland. Okay, these are the 3 accessory organs that present in our mouth. And again, they are not GI tract organ, but they additional organ that is help us to digest our food. Okay, the other 3 is located. So this one, let's say this salivary gland, another salivary gland here, another salivary pair of salivary gland here. Okay? So parotid, submandibular, sublingual. Now, for the accessory organ that's located in abdominal cavity, the first one, okay, will be here, very big. Okay? Yesterday, Joe asking about it, the black color organ. Anybody know? What is that, Joe? The liver. So liver is part of the digestive organ, but it is not GI tract, it is accessory organ. Liver produce bile. Bile is used mostly for digesting the fat. So bile is really important to digest the fat molecules. Okay, that's the first one. Second is actually very small organs that's actually attached to the liver. And again, next time when you dissect the pig, try to look for this small organ that attached to the liver. And this organ function is to store the bile. So the bile will be stored over here. So this is storage for the bile. And sometimes the bile become crystallized, become stone. That's causing problem to that person. And the disease is called the gallstone. What? Gallstone. Now, anybody know what is the name of the organ that store the bile? That's going to be gallbladder. What? The gallbladder. So liver. The next one is going to be gallbladder. Remember, the function of gallbladder is only for storage of the bile. It's not really producing the bile. Therefore, if you have gallstone, for example, the doctor usually do the surgery and take it out. And you still be okay because what? Because this gallbladder is only additional organ. They don't really produce anything. It's just the storage. Okay, so the gallbladder is storage for the bile. The bile is produced by the liver. And the last one, this is kind of the most important accessory digestive organ because this organ produces so many enzymes for digestion. If someone have problem with this organ, they usually will not last long. They will die within several months. Okay? Anybody know what is the organ that present above When you dissect next time, try to find it. They usually locate it. It usually located above the stomach. Anybody know what is the name? The pancreas. So pancreas is really important digestive organ, accessory organ, because it produces a lot of enzyme. Someone that have pancreatic cancer, again, they usually die within several months because they just cannot do, digestions. A lot of enzyme will not be producing. They usually. I have at least 3 friends that die because of pancreatic cancer within only 6 months after they have that cancer. So this pancreas again is really important. So take care of it. So eat good food. Don't eat the junk food because this pancreas, they will give up if you eat a lot of junk food. They don't like junk food. Right? So these are the digestive organ. Okay, anybody have questions so far? These are all the organs. For this lecture, for the exam lecture exam, make sure you know it. But for the lab exam, make sure you know where they are in the organism itself, in the pig. So we're gonna use pig as our models for this digestive system. Okay, if you don't have question, then we'll continue with the digestion process itself. Okay. First, there are at least six processes done by the digestive system. Okay, before we go to the process itself, right? The first one, when we put the food into our mouth. Anybody know what is it called? What do you call that action? Is the ingestions. Okay, so ingestions is putting the food into the mouth. As soon as you put the food in the mouth, then the mouth start to produce the saliva automatically. So this is automatic. This is also controlled by the ANS. So that process is called the secretions. Okay, secreted the liquid that contains a lot of enzyme, of course water, in order to help digestion. And then after that, there is what we call the mixing and propulsions done by our GI tract. So GI tract actually have muscles that are able to mix the food within it and also push the food from one canal to another canal. That's what we call the mixing and propulsions. And also, of course, very important, the digestion itself. The digestion itself. This is the process that gives the system name. And digestion can be divided into 2 types. If it is done by the teeth, for example, and also by the muscle, it's called the mechanical. Okay, mechanical digestions. This is include grinding the food and also mixing and propulsions. So when our smooth muscle of the GI tract mixing or pressing the content is also performing the mechanical digestion on it. And the most important from this digestion is actually the chemical digestion. Because this is the one that actually will produce the nutrients itself. When you do the grinding, for example, you grinding your food, it just make the food smaller, not really produce the monosaccharides or amino acids or fatty acid. It just make the food smaller. So the one that will make the food into the nutrients is the chemical digestion itself. And it is done by proteins, it's called enzyme. So enzymes are very important in digestion. Without enzyme, we cannot digest the food. We cannot absorb the food. Okay? So that's the digestion. The next one, after digestion, of course, the nutrients will be produced. It has to be absorbed. So the next one's going to be absorption. And this is mainly in small intestine. Okay? So 99% absorption will be happening in the small intestine. There are some absorption in the stomach. There are some absorption also in the large intestine. But 99% will be happening in the small intestine. It means that 99% digestion has to be done in the small intestine. Okay? So that's the place for digestion and also for absorption. Now, the one that is not digested is called the undigested food or waste product or poop or feces. It has to be eliminated. Anybody know what is the name of the elimination process in our body? When you go to the restroom?
Excretion?
No, excretion is for peeing. Excretion is but for poop, feces is called defecations. Okay, so defecations mean pooping. That's another name for defecation. So this is a little bit scientific name. Okay, so defecation is the process when we eliminate the waste product from the GI tract. Okay, that's the sixth process done by the digestive system. Now, ingestion is easy. You know it, right? Just put the food. That's ingestion. And then secretion is automatically done by the GI tract and also GI accessory organs. Mixing and propulsion is done by the muscles, the smooth muscle of GI tract. Mechanical digestion is grinding by the tooth and also mixing propulsion by the smooth muscle of the GI tract. It is not that difficult. The one that is more difficult is actually the one that we need to understand is this one over here, the chemical digestion. Therefore, we're going to go to this chemical digestion in each tract and then see what are the enzymes used for that digestion. Okay? Because enzymes actually the most important chemicals for this digestion process. Okay, so we're going to follow the process from one track to another track. Okay, so food that we eat, okay, and then we start with the first track. What is the first GI tract organ? Sarah, you still remember? What is the first GI tract organ? Mouth. Mouth. Okay. And then from the mouth, food will go to Daniel, pharynx. From the pharynx, food go to the esophagus. Esophagus. From the esophagus, food go to the stomach. Okay, and then from the stomach go to small intestine. Okay, and then from the small intestine, the waste will start to form in large intestine. Okay, large intestine. Large intestine. Okay, and then from the large intestine, the feces will stay for a while in the Ethan. What is after large intestine? Where the poop will stay? The rectum. Okay? And then finally, out from our body through the anus. Right? So that's the tract organ. Now, we're going to talk about the chemical digestion over here on each tract. Okay? And again, the food that will be digested will be the complex molecule. So we start with the polysaccharide. Okay, polysaccharide, which is the starch or amylum. Okay, and the product over here, which has to be present in the small intestine. What is the product called? Monosaccharide. Okay, so the products of this polysaccharide digestion will be the monosaccharide. And there are three main monosaccharides: glucoses, fructoses, and galactoses. Okay? So this is the one that will be absorbed. Now, in order to go there, okay, from big molecule to the small molecule over there should be process here. Okay? Of course, in the mouth, we grind the food, this mechanical digestion, and also saliva, okay, make it easy to digest. But the saliva also consists the enzyme that will digest the polysaccharide, the amylum. Right? That one is called the salivary amylase. Now, this is one you're going to learn over here. Mostly the name of the enzyme will reflect the name of the substrate that will be processed. Okay, Joe? Mostly the name of the enzyme will reflect the name of the substrate that we process. Dylan? ACE over here. Look at ACE. It means that enzyme. So many enzymes end with ACE. And the ACE is coming from the name of the substrate. Amylum, the enzyme will be amylase. Many of enzymes just like that. It's showing you what is the substrate, what is the enzyme. Okay? So salivary amylase, that's going to be the first enzyme produced in the mouth that will digest this amylum. Okay? And then in the pharynx. Pharynx actually don't do anything. It's just receive the food. Okay? So no digestion over there. Just the next channel to receive the food. The same thing with the esophagus, just flowing the food to the stomach. And in the stomach, is there any enzyme produced to digest the amylum? Amylum or the amylase, when it is worked, it's required pH around 7. pH around 7. Anybody know what is the pH in the stomach? Acidic or alkaline? Acidic. It's around 2. It means that there will be no amylase. in the stomach. It means that there is no digestion of amylum in the stomach. You get this one? So the first digestion will be happening in the mouth. Now, remember, small intestine. This is the place where all digestion has to be finished. Therefore, there will be a lot of enzyme that will be produced and dumped into the intestine in order to finish the digestion itself. So for the amylum, there are several enzymes that will be used for digesting this amylum. First, the enzyme that is coming from the pancreas. Remember, pancreas is very important organ. This pancreas have connection to the duodenum, to the small intestine. So there is a channel or duct that will connect the pancreas into the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine. So the pancreas will produce what we call the pancreatic amylase. Okay, so pancreatic amylase is going to be the first enzymes in the duodenum or in small intestine that will process this amylum more. Okay, after it is processed by the mouth. In the mouth, usually the process is very fast. Most of the people, when they eat, sometimes they forget to chew, right? They just it's making what? Making the digestion is less likely in this mouth. But in the stomach, it has to be stay there for a while. And then in the small intestine, they have to be stay there for even more in order to be digested. So there is a pancreatic amylase that will be used to digest the amylum. Okay, now we're going to use different color of this pen, this marker. We're going to see the red one for the enzyme that is produced by the duodenum itself. So the red color will be enzyme produced by the duodenum, the blue one produced by the pancreas. So there is a alpha dextrinase produced by the duodenum that will process more the amylum into smaller carbohydrate. And there is maltase that will digest the maltose. So alpha dextrinase and this amylase will digest the amylum into smaller molecule, into smaller carbohydrate. Sometimes it's called the maltose, sucrose, and also the lactose. You get that one? Lactose, if it is O, like that, is actually the substrate. But if it is ACE, that is the name of the enzyme that will digest that substrate. So that's the connection between the name of the substrate and the name of the enzyme. So maltase will digest maltose into glucoses. Okay, so glucoses over here. Now you have it. So maltase will digest maltose into 2 glucoses. Then there is another enzyme that is produced by the duodenum. It's called sucrase. Sucrase will digest the sucrose. Sucrose is 2 molecules of glucose and fructose. So sucrase will digest the sucrose into fructoses and glucoses. Now it's ready. There is another one. If you drink milk, you need this enzyme. Otherwise, you have problem. There are many people actually have problem with this. The last enzyme over here, which is called the lactase. Lactase will digest lactose into glucose and galactoses. Okay? Now, people that unable to produce lactase, this is actually inherited disease. These people, when they drink milk, Dylan, Joe? In the drink milk, what happened with them? They're gonna be vomit. They're gonna be have a stomachache. What do you call that? People, lactose intolerant people. What happened with them? They're unable to produce lactase. The duodenum do not produce lactase. This is inherited disease. Inherited disease. Right? So lactase is really important to digest lactose into glucoses and galactoses. So into glucoses and galactoses. Now you got it. You have glucoses, fructoses, galactoses, then it will be absorbed, delivered into your cell, making ATP, making energy. Okay, so that's the absorption and digestion over here. Some, the one that is not digest, like sometime in our polysaccharide, there is a fibers. So most fibers will not be digested. Is it going to be part of our poop? So many fibers, cellulose, for example, it will not digest. And then finally, it will be released. Okay, so that's the first food. The second one, proteins. Okay, so this is the complex molecules. Now, what is the final product that has to be present in the small intestine? What is the name of the subunit for the proteins again? What's nutrients that is coming from proteins will be absorbed? There are 20 types of them. Daniel? Amino acid. 20 types amino acid. So that's the product should be from this digestion. Okay, now proteins in the mouth. Of course, there is grinding, but there is no enzyme that will digest protein in the mouth. There is no chemical digestion of protein in the mouth. Pharynx, of course not. Esophagus, of course not. It just go through. It's only short time anyway in the pharynx and esophagus. Now, stomach. There are some enzymes that actually can work in the very acidic condition. That enzyme is called the pepsin. So pepsins will start to digest these proteins in the stomach. Okay, into smaller peptide. And then this smaller peptide then will go to the small intestine. It is not amino acid yet. There's still smaller protein. Sometimes it's called the dipeptide, tripeptide, tetrapeptide. Consists of 3, 4, 5 amino acids in it. It has to be digested here. So over here, I'm going to use again the blue color for enzyme that is produced by the pancreas. There are so many enzyme produced by the pancreas to digest the protein here in the small intestine. Remember, it has to be done here. First one is called trypsin. Okay, trypsin will digest more of this bigger molecule into smaller molecules. And there is going to be chymotrypsin. There is a carboxypeptide. Okay, there is a elastasis. Okay, so these enzymes, all of them will digest the proteins into amino acid. And the blue one is produced by the pancreas. I'm going to put the red one over here. That also produced by the duodenum to help digesting our proteins into amino acid. Like, for example, peptidase. Okay. Peptidase will also digest the protein. And finally, of course, if we have the amino acid, then it will be absorbed. The rest, the one that is not digested again, will go to the large intestine or to the rectum and finally go to the eliminated through the anus. Okay, that's the proteins digestion. Next, lipids or fat. It starts from the mouth. There is a enzyme that produced by the mouth, especially by the tongue. It's called the lingual lipase. Now you see again the name of the enzyme refer to the name of the substrate. Lipid, the name of the enzyme is called the lipase. Okay, lingual lipase is going to be start to digest the fat in the mouth. Of course, there is none in the pharynx and esophagus, but there is also lipase in the stomach. It's called the gastric lipase that will digest more of the fat. And then what's the end product over here? The end product will be fatty acid. There is also enzyme that produced by the pancreas. It's called the pancreatic lipase. So all the name of the enzyme is lipase actually. And then you put the name of the organ that produce it. Lingual lipase produced by the tongue. Gastric lipase produced by the stomach. Pancreatic lipase in the duodenum produced by the pancreas. All digest the fat. The last one, DNA and RNA, or the nucleic acid. There is no digestion in the mouth, and chemical digestion for the DNA, RNA in the mouth, in the esophagus, or even in the stomach, because it's require very neutral pH. But there are some enzyme that produced by the duodenum mostly. There is we're gonna put the one that produced by the pancreas first, the blue color. There is DNAase. The name is telling you it's digest the DNA, and there is a RNAase, digest the RNA. When the DNA RNA digests it, it will produce the nucleotide over here. Nucleotide, which is mostly the one that will be absorbed. The nucleotide. However, this nucleotide can be also digested more into smaller molecule, like the phosphate and the nucleoside itself. So there is some enzyme produced by the duodenum. It's called the phosphatase nucleosidase that will digest nucleotide more into phosphate and the base, the protein, the base of this DNA RNA. Remember, DNA RNA the nucleotides consist of the sugar, the phosphate, and the base. Adenine, guanine, cytosine. They can be digested more with phosphatases and nucleosidase, and both of them are produced by the duodenum. And again, the rest will go to the large intestine, the one that is not absorbed, and will be released, eliminated from our body. Now, for the large intestine, there are some still water reabsorption over here. There are some water still reabsorbed. And for the rest of the food, vitamin, mineral, waters, most of the absorption again will be happening here in the small intestine, absorbed. They don't have to be digested. It's there already, small molecules. Okay. So these are the process of digestion, including the enzyme that help our digestion. Okay, I hope it's helped you, right, to understand this. And again, maybe the most difficult part over here is try to connect the enzyme name with the substrate that they digest and where they are located and which organ produce them. And again, I put different color over here to make sure you do know that the blue one in the small intestine is produced by the pancreas, the red one is produced by the duodenum itself. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here.